I don't know why I'm at Speedway. I don't know. This isn't going to go well. I know nothing about cars. I like pink. I'm wearing pink. Like, why am I at Speedway? But I honestly could watch F1 and still have no clue what is going on. I love it now. Let's get that so clear. I would pick Speedway over and over again if I got the option.
Okay. So I guess, yes, you have a very cute, very girly aesthetic. Pink, love it. Tomorrowland Speedway is certainly not that. How did you feel when you first saw that you got that role?
I'm gonna be so honest, I was not thrilled. I love it now. Let's get that so clear. I love my job. I don't think there's any other place I'd rather be working, as there's so many locations, whether it's food and beverage, attractions, literally everything. I would pick Speedway over and over again if I got the option, just because the people are amazing. I love my job and it's so fun. But again, I was not thrilled. I was moving into Flamingo when I got the email that I was at Speedway. And I just turned to my mom and I'm like, it says I'm Tomorrowland Speedway. Isn't that Tomorrowland? I thought I was in Fantasyland. And she was like, are you sure? And so I go to the group chat we all had, and everyone else was like, did anyone else get to Speedway? I didn't know this was Fantasyland East. And I was like, oh, so I am at Speedway. This is going to be interesting. I know nothing about cars.
Did you hear anybody kind of tell you things about Speedway before you got to your location?
No, and the reason why is because, again, I found out about Speedway the day I moved in. So at that point, it was too late. We had a group chat of Magic Kingdom cast members for the Disney College program, and then also Fantasyland East, because I learned that I was Fantasyland East back in December. So I knew that about a month before I went. And we were all talking, and people were literally just like, I don't want this one area. And then when it came out, everyone was so upset about Speedway. I think it just gets such a bad reputation, because we had this girl we have a lot of people who actually now are cross-trained, and they have all said they enjoy Speedway so much more than they thought. But I think I had my disappointment because I didn't expect Speedway. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I have Enchanted Tales with Belle, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Little Mermaid, and Circus. And I see Speedway, and I didn't even know that was an option. And I was just thinking, oh, okay. And obviously first off, it wasn't what I expected, because I didn't know that was part of it. But also, I knew nothing about cars, and that's also not really what I was anticipating how to spend my program. So there was so much. So I feel like there would have been less disappointment had I known Speedway was part of Fantasyland, because then I would go in knowing to expect that. But also, I don't think I would have heard anything, because you don't really find much about Tomorrowland Speedway on TikTok. Our first day of training, they take us to get our costumes. And funny enough, actually, I met my best friend there in the program. But her first impression of me was talking about how I didn't want Speedway. And she was also at Speedway. And I was like, I don't know why I'm at Speedway. I don't know. This isn't going to go well. I know nothing about cars. I like pink. I'm wearing pink. Like, why am I at Speedway? Like, that is something I regret, because I'm like, obviously, that was people's first impression of me, talking about how much I didn't want to roll. And obviously, it's okay to have that disappointment, but I wish I hadn't vocalized it as much. And it's also just funny now, because I'm like, girl, you're going to be fine. Like, I promise you will be fine.
Yeah. So how much do you feel like going in with that negative attitude impacted the way that you saw the role?
I think for me, even though I knew I wasn't the most excited, I was also under the impression that this is my job. Whether I like it or not, I have to do my job and I have to learn everything. And I just think as I learned it and started getting the hang of everything and realizing it wasn't as complicated, that I just started like loving it. And there were the certain things I started enjoying the most. And I had a good group with Bill, Megan, and Xander, where we would all just joke around a lot. And I think that was also fun, because even though I was disappointed, they were just making it such a fun environment and such a fun time, where I couldn't help but start liking it. And I just enjoyed being around them and the other people in the break room. And it was just so much fun.
Yeah. You've talked about like how you eventually got to the point where you're like, I love this, I'm enjoying it. But what was the beginning of that mindset shift? Like, how did you start to get there?
We have a tour where they just make sure we know what we're doing so we don't get lost. And we were walking around, and there were some other people there who were also working at Speedway. It was a bunch of us from Fantasyland, and I was talking with them, and we were all talking. I was like, yeah, I honestly was kind of shocked when I saw Speedway as my location. And I was talking about how I was like, I don't really know why they put me there. I don't know anything about cars. This could go very rough. So I was really worried about that. And then my first day of training, I did not know what the hood was called. So I just said, you have to put the thing up. And he's like, what thing? I was like, the thing in the back. And he's like, the hood. And I was like, yeah,
Wait, that thing in the back?
Because we put the
hood's
up.
in the back?
Yeah.
The hood can be in the back.
We have to have the hood on the
a
back
hood
for the
can
cars.
be in the back of a car? Wow.
This is news to me.
I didn't know what the hood was called, I'll be honest.
I'm in the same boat.
No, I was wondering. I was like, we put the thing up because we were talking about certain rules. And he just looked at me. He's like, what do you mean the thing? I was like, well, we put the thing up and you turned it off. And he's like, the hood? And I was like, yeah, that's what it's called.
Like that thing.
And I was just like, this just is making me look so not good. This is really being like, wow, she has no clue what she's doing, which I really didn't. I'll be so honest.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that a lot of people can relate to, this Disney College Program experience, right? Mm-hmm. Once in a lifetime, right here at Walt Disney World Resort, but then you figure out that what you wanted is not exactly what you got, right? You can put in your preferences, but you don't always get what you want. So is that something that you kind of encounter with other people that you were around as well, your roommates and friends?
Honestly, I would say yes, because even though I got attractions, which is one of the things that people want the most when they come to the DCP, it also is the location. So even though I was so excited to be in attractions, when I got Speedway, there was still that disappointment. And they also have friends who work in merchandise and food and beverage, and they were also disappointed with that because there's going to be disappointment no matter what. And I also do know people who went and like, I am going to love this so, so much, and they're not the biggest fan. So I think it's just all about making the most of it, because I didn't think I was going to end up loving Speedway, and now I love going to work. My mom is always telling me, she's like, I feel like you just pick up shifts to just be with your friends. I'm like, no, I do that. Like, I like being at Speedway. It's so much fun.
How it's just like dead at everyone being disappointed, like, oh no.
It's honestly funny because in the interview they tell us, they're like, there's a very good chance you're not going to get what you want.
Yeah.
But I think people are like, oh, I'm going to be that exception. I am going to get exactly what I want, and I'm going to get the exact location as well. I want to be Tower of Terror, and I will be Tower of Terror. And even if they get attractions, they're like, it's not Tower of Terror.
Oh my, I feel like there's a lesson in there somewhere about like not getting what you want and it working out.
Managing your expectations.
Right.
Like
there's a life lesson in there somewhere. Okay, so you talked a little bit about your like learning on the job. Mm-hmm. Was there a moment that kind of like shifted things for you where you're like, wait, actually no, I am starting to like this now, like?
I honestly think it was a slow process. I had so amazing trainers. The people at Speedway are honestly the best. And I think when you're working around people like that, you just can't help but like your job. And so it definitely was fun for me. And we were all just like goofing around during training. Like we were very serious, but again, with the whole hood thing, like I think it was kind of, you were all like laughing about it. And I was like, okay, so this is fun. And then we also do have to drive the cars. So they made us do like a whole lap and stuff. And I think I could not drive the cars. I was so bad. I was constantly like hitting the track. Now I would like to say I'm a very good driver.
Okay.
Kind of because I probably have to be a good driver with it. But it was just like, as I started doing it, I like really was like, as I started understanding everything, I think I was like, oh, I'm more confident with what I'm doing. And then I started being like, I got this, and just loving it. But I think the minute I stepped on to Tomorrowland Speedway, I really was like, this seems like a fun job, and the energies there is so much fun. Like we're all just like laughing and stuff. My friend and I will be like on different spots of track, and we'll just like look at each other, and we'll just start like mouthing to each other. We'll just like read each other's mind. Like there was one day there was no one in line, and I was greeter and she was lightning lane, and we started doing the Fantasmic dance.
Oh my gosh.
Up front. So it's just like fun, literally. It's just fun moments like that, where it just makes it so much fun. And I think it was literally just as I started getting to know people and getting to know my trainers and just how amazing they were, it really just made me be like, I love it here.
You talked about the trainers and the leaders in the area being helpful, of course, as you're starting this role. But what about just them being relatable to you on a human-to-human level?
Honestly, they were all so relatable. My two trainers both had done the Disney College program, so that felt very nice because they had obviously been in my position before going on to obviously part-time and full-time and everything else that comes with the company. And then everyone else at Speedway, a lot of the people there actually started in the Disney College program, and a lot of them started the Disney College program at Speedway and are still there several years later. I'm friends with everyone, and I feel like we have a very good group of people working. And even the people I'm not the closest with, we all just understand stuff, and we all just can like talk about pretty much everything. And there's different things we can all relate on. So with some of my coworkers, we can talk about where we went to college or like our college lives. And with other people, we can talk about shows we like or what made us want to do the DCP and things like that. And it was always very upfront and honest. It was never like, oh, you're going to hate this, you're going to love this, you're going to get this immediately. It is a learning curve, but then I did get there, and everyone does get there, I would like to say. So it's just very great when you have that support system as well.
Yeah.
What was something that you would say surprised you with this role, aside from like learning about cars? But like,
I honestly think the thing that surprised me is how much goes into Speedway, because from the gist of it, it looks like, oh, they're just cars, but there's so much because the cars don't move on their own. The guests have to actually drive the cars. So even though they're on a track, we have to spiel to them. We have to tell them exactly what to do. And we also have to make sure that all the cars are good to go. And it's not like your typical attraction where you press a button and stuff. We do operate it, but we also don't, because it's also the guests who get like to do it. And I think that's also so fun for them as well. And it's super fun seeing the little kids get so excited to drive a car, and the parents are always panicking. I think like whenever I look at them, I'm like, yeah, so your son like can drive, or like your daughter can drive. They're like, they can drive the car. And I'm like, yeah, they're 5. And I'm like, no, I know, it's on the track, the pedal's in the middle. I promise, like, we let kids drive the car. And you could just see the horror of their like, because obviously they're like, oh, my kid's not going to drive till they're 16. And they're like, oh, so they're driving me now.
Yeah.
for somebody who is kind of in the midst of this and they have their up days and they have a lot of downs, like what's something that you would kind of give them as encouragement to say there's a brighter side to this and you'll see it?
I would honestly say focus on yourself and mental health. There was one day I was supposed to go to like run some errands and grab dinner with my friends after a shift, but I was so tired because I had picked up so many shifts. I'd been working for several days on end because instead of taking my 2 days off, I picked up more shifts, and I was exhausted, and I just was like, I'm going to go home and go to bed. I will see you guys the next day. And sure, in the moment I was like, do I have FOMO? Yes. But I think it's so important to make those things where you're like doing what you need for yourself, because obviously, especially with my job, if I am not in the best headspace or tired, there are so many things that can go wrong. And I also am not going to enjoy it if I'm not in the best headspace. So doing the things to make sure you're doing the best for yourself so you can also be the best for others as well.
Mm-hmm. I know there are some people who, because they're worried about like their roles and things, they would have a little bit of difficulty with having that conversation of like, hey, we can't allow you to lap up or, whatever it is. Like, how do you overcome that? And what would you say to somebody who's maybe worried about the conversations that they would have to have?
I think just knowing that it's going to be okay. You have a support system, and even if the guest gets annoyed, you aren't doing it to be unfair. You're doing it for that safety of that child. You're doing it for the safety of them. And I will say I have had some people get annoyed with me, but I always am like, I cannot do this safely. And just because you're okay with it, I am not comfortable with that, and I can't allow it. And it's almost like when I put on my name tag in the morning, I'm not just Joanie. I'm Joanie, the cast member. Joanie, who's responsible for so many people's safety. And I think knowing that that is the mindset I'm in at work is helpful for me, because I do get confrontational. Sometimes I don't want to have those conversations, but also it's just something I have to do. And most of the time the guests are so receptive with it. And we obviously have ways around to make it so it goes the best. We do rider switch. So if a kid isn't tall enough, then one parent can go with the other kid, and then the other parent can take that kid again. So they both get the experience. Or if it's a mom with 2 kids and one of the kids can't go alone, we actually allow 3 kids in the car, which people don't know about. So we have all those things to make it so it is accessible, and we can be as accessible for everyone and make it so everyone has the best experience there.
Yeah. So it's almost like you view it as I get to do something in return, like give them a positive experience.
Exactly.
That's cool.
It's a lot of fun, and you can always see the relief on the parent's face. I had a parent the other day, and they were like, I don't think my kid's tall enough to go, so I don't think we can ride. Is there any way I can just leave him up front, take my other kid, and then go again? And I was like, we actually allow 3 kids in the car. And I could just see the relief in her face, because obviously when you're at Disney World, you want to make sure all your kids are having the best time, and you want to make sure everyone can have fun together. And if a kid isn't tall enough, or if you are a single parent, there's so much stress with that. But I feel like Speedway and just Fantasyland, and honestly Disney World in general, it is such a great place for everyone and anyone.
Yeah. I love that.
Interesting.
As someone who you said you enjoy talking to people and kind of making their day, but what's another way that you're able to make your personality and just like yourself shine through the role that you have?
I don't know. I just have fun with it. I think as long as you're having fun with it, you're going to enjoy it. And the guests are always like, you seem so happy. I think that's when they'd be like, you might be the happiest cast member we've seen all day. But I think it's just things like that. I'm a very like happy and positive person. So I just always make sure I'm having fun with it. And even though I never would have expected to love Speedway, I love it so much. And it's just such a fun atmosphere to work. I love it. Even on the days when I'm so exhausted or the days I'm there until like midnight or 1 a.m., it's still so much fun because I'm with my friends and the guests are happy and I get to talk to them. Like I love getting to talk to little kids and being like, what's your favorite thing? Have you met characters? Is there a character you want to meet? And it's just so fun getting to have those interactions with them and just seeing them talk so excitedly about stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there like, cause you say you like to have fun with it every day. Is there a way that you can find the fun in days that are maybe a little harder, maybe you're a little tired?
I try to remember that I am living my dream. And also, there was something that I got told during my training, which is I'm not just working at Disney World, which is so many people's dreams. I'm working in the Magic Kingdom. That is a crazy sentence that I never thought I'd be able to say. And even when I'm tired, I remember that just because it's my everyday, it's not these guests every day. And I want to make sure that they have the best time ever. And if I can just have a little bit of fun with them, that is going to make their day. And it's always the interactions that mean the most to them are the ones that I barely think about. For example, me asking a kid, oh my gosh, it's your birthday. How old are you? That can make that kid's whole day just because I get to talk to him and be like, what was your favorite thing you got? What is one thing you really want to do? And it's just those little things where for me, I do it all the time, but for them, it feels so special. And it's just like those moments and seeing them like get so excited.
Yeah.
For all these different like reasons and more, it would be easy for somebody to just check out and be like, I don't want to do this and I'm going to just make the worst of it in a way.
Yeah.
What do you feel like people would miss leaving out on that?
I think, honestly, I feel like that was me because I told my mom, I was like, I want to go home, but I can't imagine what it would have been if I did leave because I have met so many of my best friends doing this program. And even though I do end my program in June, I know I'm going to stay in touch with all of them. And I also just think it's so much fun and you don't know what's going to happen. Again, I'm the last person to say I would have liked Speedway. I honestly fully never thought I was going to like it. And now if I had the option to pick any place, I would gladly pick Speedway again over and over. And it's just so much fun. And I think it's so important to be like, don't go into it with the worst. First off, I feel like that's the worst thing ever, going into it with like the worst attitude, because you're probably going to get in trouble because you're going to be rude to the guests. And that's the first thing where for me, despite the fact that I wasn't excited about Speedway, I was always like, I still want to make sure that the guests have a good day because I don't want to ruin someone's day. That's not who I am. And that's also not how I want to ever be perceived. I don't want to make someone's day awful. So I was always like, I have to be happy. I have to always make sure that even if I'm not the happiest at Speedway, I have to at least act happy so I don't ruin the guest day, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a lot of people coming to Disney World. And I think you have to make sure that even if you don't like your location, remember that they are a guest. It is about them, and your impression could literally ruin their day. I had a guest tell me that they were having a bad day, and just my interaction with them made them have such a different view on the whole day. It made them literally realize that they can have such a positive day. And it's things like that where I'm like, we do make people's trips. We are the ones that make the trips worth it for people. When you see people excited about Disney, it's because we also are Disney. We are Disney. We are the reason. And people probably wouldn't keep coming back if everyone was so mean. Disney's known for having amazing customer service and being so great with everyone because we know how to be hospitable for everyone. And I think that's so important. And that's one of the reasons why I think I did fall in love with Speedway, because I went in knowing like, even if I'm not excited and I don't like it, I have to make sure I have a good attitude for the guests.
So all that being said, what are you going to take with you as you leave this experience in terms of what you've learned and how you've grown?
Again, I think I'm going to go in with an open mindset. I think that's everything, because even though I would like to say I went into Speedway with an open mindset, I don't know if that really was how I went in. Obviously, I went in being like, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to put my best foot forward. But I went in thinking there's no way I'm going to like this. And I think it's just about that, handling disappointment better.
So with all the stuff being said, if there's someone who right now is where you were at the beginning of your role and getting into training, they're a little disappointed, what's something that you would say to them?
First off, make sure you know what the hood is called. You know what? I recommend that. I think first off, learn what the hood is called. That might save you some embarrassment. I think second off, obviously, go in with an open mindset. I don't know how many times I can say that. That is my biggest piece of advice. And then also put yourself out there. I became really close to some of the CPs about a month into my program. And it was just because I kept putting myself out there. Same with some of the part-timers. They work different shifts than us, and we have different shifts. But I always would talk to people whenever I was working and asking people how their day is. And I feel like I do know all of my coworkers really well. And it makes it so much fun that I know them. And I love having those guest interactions and seeing the kids so excited and just like all of that. It's such a fun thing to do.
This has been so much fun, just getting to know your story and all the advice and wisdom. I know people listening are walking away with so much. So thank you for being here. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
And for anyone listening who wants more of an inside scoop on the Disney College Program, feel free to check out our other episodes or learn more on DisneyCollegeProgram.com. See you next time.